In the town of Newry in Northern Ireland, there is a small technology development company that is planning a revolution in the global banking sector. They are combining the experience of some of the largest investment banks in the world with the research capability of specialist academic institutions and their own knowledge of the derivatives exchange market. They are developing grid technology to solve some of the most challenging problems of the financial sector.
Now, the problem with financial markets at the moment is that there's a practical debt of data which grows by the day. There are thousands and hundreds of different stocks worldwide. There are many different financial commodities. There are, on top of those, again, numerous OTC derivatives derived from these underlying financial pieces of data. So, for a bank to collate and calculate the requisite to react to this data is a major technological challenge. At peak flow, there are 120,000 options per second, translating about 1 million to generate the relative trade profitably on these. That's not possible with a single processor. That has to be spread across multiple processors, which is where the grid technology is ideal for providing a solution which I think it is not possible with the grid it is. The prices generally on the market in optioning do not in themselves form buy or sell signals. The important factor is buy option volatility, which is a measure of how diverse the movements in an option buying is not directly observed. It's a method of success, the Newton-Raphson test, which involves taking a guess applied volatility is, plugging that back into the formula, saying if that equated to the market price. If it's not equal to the market price, we then second guess, and we then have guess may lie both sides of the market price. We then take a third guess and we iterate that process and we come to a value of the implied volatility, which equates to the this implied volatility is used by traders to get a signal as to whether the option is over or underpriced. So if the implied volatility breaches a certain threshold, then the case that this buy signal will execute this decision accordingly. Ultimately, with the grid, decision can be taken at the dealer's hand and made into an automatic decision. So as well as calculating implied volatility, which takes an infinitesimally small amount of milliseconds, now execute the trade in milliseconds as well.
First Derivatives is demonstrating how a very small company can develop services of vast international corporations. By enabling financial institutions to move from 8,000 stock movements a second to near real-time 120,000 exchanges, they could revolutionize the sector. However, grid, a world where much change of policy can wreak havoc in seconds.
This can be from major upheavals in the political arena, in the world, or just factors beyond their control, the Enron scandal. The bank had portfolios with tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of individual trades, denominated in 20, 30, 40, 50 different currencies, positions in the major economies and the major emerging economies in the world. And the mathematical techniques used to simulate these potentially tens of thousands of connecting circumstances is pretty well defined in theory, but in practice, the amount of time taken to churn and crunch these numbers is such that quite often it can only be done overnight. Now, this means that their information is a day late and that they're reacting too slowly to events as they unfold. The benefits of the grid in this respect are very easy to see, in that a constant crunching of the numbers can allow management to reduce the time taken to analyse the risks from hours to minutes and ultimately to seconds.
In financial services, selling high-performance technology is a challenge, but at the same time, financial services have always been at the cutting edge of new technology. I mean, we were the first involved in kind of web technology a long, long time ago. So the idea of distributed processing and grid computing has kind of been the idea has been around financial services for some time. However, it is very difficult to try and get the idea of it across because for all intents and purposes, it's really invisible. It's like you can't go in and show a flashing screen and flashing Excel spreadsheets and so forth like the financial services are used to, and complex equations producing results. It is something that's sitting in the background, and it's trying to get across the idea that yes, you have all of the infrastructure in place here, but what we're actually going to give you is additional power to process.
The reason why it's appealing to some of the larger banks is that it allows them to potentially utilise spare capacity during downtime in different trading zones. So it is theoretically possible, if grid is harnessed properly, for the New York office to use Tokyo and London's downtime computer capacity, and also within a particular network to use people's computers when someone's off sick or out at lunch, or when people aren't using the computer to the full capacity.
This company is creating solutions for the global financial sector in partnership with their customers, research institutions and technology specialists. They are developing specific ways of increasing computer power whilst managing an economically efficient IT strategy so that they can do something quite extraordinary: predict many futures in millionths of a second.